How's it going, my true people? Dr. Slacking, the Slacking Doctor, back with our Week 3 battle, I believe, of the LTC. That's a low-tier championship run by my man Foss. This week we're up against I'm gonna say this wrong. The Quinnipiac, I think. He did send me a voice note telling me how to say it, and I looked at it like a week ago because I am recording this a long time after the battle. Unfortunately, I've been moving house, as you guys probably know. We're in the new setup for the first time, although I've actually recorded another video here, which you'll see next week, but it doesn't really matter. We're in the new setup right now with a new layout with our animated sprites down below me somewhere. Shout out to my man 2-Bit Crow for those awesome looking layout. But yeah, because I've moved house, I'm recording this like over a week after the battle happened, whatever week. So I'm a little bit unfamiliar with some things, and I apologise, but I'm going to do my best to get through this the best we can. It was a really great battle, and shout out to my man Qwilfish because he brought a great team, and as I say, it was just a good battle. So, and he actually uploaded his side of the battle, so his channel will be linked down in the description. You can go check out his side of the battle. It was really interesting to listen to, quite informative as well. He's definitely a better battler than me, so his post-com is more, I guess, analytic than mine. Analytical. And I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. That's what I'm trying to say. So, without further ado, let's get into the team. Actually, slightly one more further ado, because what we need to do is we need to shout out my man Checkmate Ben, because this week he helped me build this team quite heavily. I just messaged a couple of people trying to get some mocks together who was around, who was online. He was like, I can do it. Then when the time came for us to have some mock battles, I hadn't even built a team, so instead we just hopped in call and built this entire team together. A really cool team. So, we have Scrub, named after the other Ben in the UCC, Scrubulator. I don't know why I decided to name a Camerupt after him. He just likes weird Pokemon, and Camerupt is a weird Pokemon, so maybe he likes it. If you like it, then this is named after you, Ben, but you maybe you don't like it. But anyway, Camerupt with the Sugarberry, because I should quickly go over his draft. He had the Rabombi, the Miltank, the Lantern, the Chatot, the Magmar, the Castform, the Registeel, the Piloswine, the Lilligant, the Sliggoo, and the Marshtom. Did you like that seamless transition? You guys definitely didn't notice any transition there. I hadn't forgotten his team or anything. I very much had forgotten his team. I knew what he brought to the battle, but I couldn't remember what else he had. So yeah, so that's his team. The Rabombi, Miltank, Lantern, Drifblim, Chatot, Magmar, Castform, Registeel, Piloswine, Lilligant, Sliggoo, Marshtom. And he made some trades. So you can see he has 0 of 3 free agent trades remaining because he made all 3 free agent trades before this battle, which made me kind of nervous. So he brought in things like the Drifblim, he brought in the Marshtomp, I believe, and maybe something else. I can't quite remember. But basically what he brought in is he brought in Camerupt counters, because I had a team previously built for this match, which I had to completely redo, which was built around a Rock Polish Camerupt sweep. It didn't work anymore because he had things like the Marshtomp, or didn't work as well anymore because he had things like the Marshtomp. So we had to rebuild the team, and that's where Checkmate Ben helps me out. So having seen his team, the Sugarberry was for the Piloswine. I now remember this was my dedicated Piloswine answer. I thought Piloswine was a good potential lead for him. So I brought the Sugarberry set so we could live in Earthquake, Fire Blast, Earth Power, Will-O-Wisp, Stealth Rock. Now, crucially, you might think, well, Thick Fats, Fire Blast doesn't do that much. Earth Power is not super effective, and Stealth Rocks and Will-O-Wisp are passive. So what? I wanted to burn this thing because basically Piloswine put in so much damage against my team with Earthquake and Ice Shard, and it was his only real physical threat. You can see that from most of his team. The other physical mons are like Registeel and stuff that are really passive. So I could basically run full Spadef in everything on my team if I could burn the Piloswine. So Camerupt was really here to get that Will-O-Wisp on the Piloswine, get Rocks up, and then Fire just did well against his team, and Ground didn't do too bad either. Solid Rock so that we could definitely take an Earthquake from the Piloswine through our Sugarberry. HP investment would have been specifically for that, to make sure that we didn't take too much from the Piloswine. Enough speed to, I think, speed creep Piloswine, and the rest in defense, again, to make sure we live a couple of things, probably. I think it's so that we could 1v1 the Piloswine even after the burn. I think we could then Fire Blast it down after we burnt it, potentially. So that was why we ran that set. Modest, just to make sure we had the damage output. Really, really cool set. I was really happy with this one. I was excited to use that. Then we have Isaac, our shiny Licky Licky, because you guys told me you can't name things on Showdown after other Pokemon, so we couldn't have Pikachu the Licky Licky, which sucked. So we have Isaac the Licky Licky, because it was named after his Pikachu shiny Licky Licky anyway. And max HP, max Spadef, because he doesn't have any physical threats really, so it just seems safe to run max Spadef against his team. Wish knockoff Sword Stance Facade. Now, well, this is originally supposed to be Wish knockoff Curse Facade. The idea being I could curse up on something, be so bulky specially anyway, and then really bulky physically with the cursor, and basically sweep his whole team. This thing could sweep his whole team. Knockoff was to make sure I could hit the Drift Blim. Facade was so that if he tried to Toxic and whittle me down that way. Okay, but I'm at like +3 attack now because of my curses or something. Facade is just going to wreck shop. You're done. So that was why we had that set. I thought this was going to be the MVP of the match. We did expect to kind of sweep with this at some point. Careful Nature, obviously, just to boost up Spadef even further. If nothing else, it was a good Wish Passer and a good bulky switch into a lot of his special attackers. Then we have Foss, the Cryogonal, with its Icicle Plate, Freeze Dry, Reflect, Light Screen, Knockoff. Freeze Dry was really good for like the Marsh Tomb. It still hit the Drift Blim very well. It still hit the Lilligant pretty well. Light Screen's on there and Reflect's on there because it means I could get, say, Isaac set up behind screens. And Knockoff just to get rid of some EVO Lights because he has a lot of EVO Light mons. Or a few EVO Light mons. So that's why we had that on there. Timid Nature, I think we were trying to outspeed a Lilligant. I wouldn't have been at +1, I don't think we would be able to outspeed. So I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe that was just I think that was just a speed creep normal Lilligant at neutral. Not entirely sure though. But yeah, so that's why we have that on there. Then we have Checkmate, our shiny Gramble with the Babiri Berry. This set was one of my regrets, I guess, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. Basically, I had 120 in HP, max attack, adamant, with enough speed to speed creep a few things on his team. The Babiri Berry with the low kick was specifically for the Registeel. Registeel couldn't do that much to me with an Iron Head at all with the Babiri Berry there, and I chunked him with low kick. I probably did like, I don't know, 80% to an Oko with low kick, I'm sure, as an adamant max attack. Like, I did a ton. Play Rough is on there as powerful stab to hit a few things. Stone Edge for like the Drift Blim and the Rabombi. And then Earthquake was originally Super Fang. I decided to go with Earthquake though so that I could hit the Lantern. I have feelings about that now, but we'll discuss that when we get into the game. And that was literally a late change. The set that I had with Checkmate Ben when we were building the team had Super Fang. He went off call. I went to start the battle, and literally last minute I was like, oh crap, how am I hitting Lantern? I'll put Earthquake. Didn't tell him. He was not happy. But we'll get into that. Then we had Choice Spec Swallow with Boom Burst, Heat Wave, Sleep Talk, Tailwind. Sleep Talk was so that if I got put to sleep by the Lilligant, I could still potentially fire off some moves. Tailwind was just because Swallow doesn't get a lot of things that you want to run. He didn't have many 4x weaknesses. I could have run HP Grass for the Marsh Stomp, but I didn't feel it was necessary, so I just ran Tailwind so I could maybe speed up some of these other threats on the team. Particularly Scrub would love a Tailwind. Specs Boom Burst obviously is the main thing I'm going to be clicking here. Barring his Registeel, he just didn't have a Boom Burst switch in overly. So Specs Boom Burst worked really, really well. Max Special Attack, Timid with max speed, nearly max speed, not quite max speed. I'm not sure what I was speed creeping there. Maybe a Lilligant at +1. Probably a Lilligant at +1. Then we had Sceptile Fern. Our Sceptile came with the Leaf Blade, Rock Slide, Drain Punch, Swords Dance set. Now this is the main reason we brought the dual screens on Foss. Yachi Berry to try and take some ice beams from something. I don't remember what was his ice coverage. Let's have a look. From Piloswine. So we could try and take maybe like a if he got burned or whatever, and then went for the Ice Shard. Yachi Berry meant we ate that. We could probably take an Icicle Crash behind Reflect as well if he was burnt. Certainly, I'm sure. So that's why we had the Yachi on there. And then we could get it all back with Drain Punch the next turn, potentially. Although maybe not if he had Ice Shard. I don't know exactly. But we knew what we were doing. I'm sure we knew what we were doing, probably. Drain Punch is really, really nice on a setup Mon because you get all your HP back, of course. Rock Slide hit half his team really well. Things like the Drift Blim that I couldn't really touch that well. And the Rabombi as well. And Leaf Blade was just powerful stab to wreck shop on a lot of things. So this set I was pretty convinced would be a late game sweeper, and I thought it had a really good matchup where Isaac could wear things down, and then this could come in late game, set up, and just win. That was the plan. So, without further ado, guys, and also it was Adamant with that much speed to probably speed creep the don't know what, but Adamant meant that we could really put some damage out. He didn't have a particularly fast draft, so it did mean we could run some things like that. Anyway, now, guys, we will get into the battle. So here we are, guys, in the battle, and you can see at team preview that he did decide to bring the Lantern, the Chatot, the Drifblim, the Rabombi, the Marshtomp, and the Registeel. So I was looking at this and I was thinking, okay, like I don't dislike my matchup here. Specifically, there's no Piloswine, which I thought was a certainty. I absolutely thought Piloswine was a certainty. So that was really nice to not see that. Most of the things I thought on his team didn't really scare me. Marshtomp kind of because set up rocks and that was about it. Registeel set up rocks and that was about it. Be physically bulky, but I wasn't particularly concerned about that. Drifblim, maybe it could defog, but crucially what I noticed here was that his only forms of removal were Rabombi, Drifblim, and Chatot, all are weak to rocks. So if I got rocks up, he had to bring something that was weak to rocks in, which isn't ideal. So I decided that getting rocks up was pretty important. So for that reason, I decided to lead... wait, why is that going so fast? I decided to lead with Scrub, our Camerupt, which looks so nice in a shiny form. So I do decide to get my rocks up here. And he goes out into this thing. I know I don't want to stay in because I don't have Passion Berry, I have Sugar Berry, so I can't live a Surf or anything. He actually just fires off his rocks, which was fair enough. I couldn't really touch this thing anyway, so we go for a Wish. Scouting what he wants to do, and he fires off a superpower, lowering his attack, which means he can't stay in a superpower with me again. We're actually going to move to really slow while we talk through this. So I was going for the Wish, and I decided here to go for a knockoff. Just in case he decides to stay in, I'll get rid of his Eviolite for later in the battle. Instead, he goes out into Rabombi. It still does like 20% or 18%. We get rid of his Focus Sash, which was ruined by rocks anyway, so pretty useless turn there from me. I probably should have Swords Dance, but I realized that this thing, I'm max Spadef. It can't touch me. It can Quiver Dance, but I'm not really scared. So I go for the SD as he goes for the Sticky Web. Seems absolutely fine to me. I'm like, okay, you're slowing me down, but my team isn't reliant on speed particularly. So I get a Sword Stance up, and I'm thinking, I'm going to sweep here. He goes for the Moonblast, and he drops my special attack. I'm not particularly worried about that. I go for the Wish just to be safe. I do believe we're actually going to go back to slow, because this is too slow. I go for the Wish, and I'm like, okay, I'm in a good position to start just clicking Facade now. So that's exactly what we do. It goes for the Bug Buzz, and he gets the Spadef drop. So this bit of the battle was really quite annoying. He told me that he realized he had to just play for Spadef drops against my Licky Licky. So he clicked Moonblast thinking that was a Spadef drop. And of course it dropped my special attack. It has a 30% chance to drop special attack. It didn't affect the battle, I didn't mind. Then he goes for the Bug Buzz, which has a 10% chance to drop Spadef. And he gets it first time. It's like getting an Ice Beam freeze. It happens. But it essentially stopped me from winning the game right here. If he hadn't got that Spadef drop, I think I just win, because my Wish is coming in at the end of this turn. I fire off the Facade and take him out. So I'm like, damn, now I'm in a difficult position. I'm at 100%, but I have a Spadef drop. He goes into Shatter. I can kill this thing with a Facade, but it's going to do a shit ton to me. So I'm like, okay, we're just going to sack Scrub. The Piloswine isn't here. It's not that useful against the rest of his team, honestly, apart from maybe Registeel. So we just sack Scrub here to the Scarfed Boomburst, well, I assume it's a Scarfed Boomburst. And we go out into Foss. We know we can live one, and if he's not Scarfed, we should outspeed him anyway. We do see, in fact, that he is Scarfed. We do tank it, which is nice. And we get to fire off our Freeze Dry and take him out. So that's a huge offensive threat on his team gone, because Chatot actually hits really, really hard. And he goes out into American Steel here, and I'm like, okay, so we're pretty sure an sorry, I just clicked that too slow. But we're pretty sure an Iron Head is coming out here, and I'm like, well, he'll probably kill me through the Reflect, but that's fine, because if I get my Reflect up, I can go into Sceptile, or I can go into Isaac, and I can just start sweeping. So indeed, we go for our Reflect, and he actually goes for a Curse, and I didn't bring Haze on this Cryogonal, which maybe was a mistake, because as he goes for the Curse, I realize, crap, this thing is just going to set up like hell on my Cryogonal. So I go hard into Fern, knowing that he probably can't really touch me, and I can SD on him and put a bit of pressure. So through the Reflect, I know we're going to take an Iron Head just fine, and he reveals the Ice Punch, which we tank for 22% with our Yachi, but it's scary. I'm like, oh god. So I hit a Drain Punch here for 25%, does nothing. I should have SD'd again as well as I should have done. He's able to go for another Curse, which really sucks, which forces me to SD again, really. Maybe I should have Drain Punched again with hindsight. But I don't know. We SD again as he curses again. I think we Drain Punch here, maybe, for another 25% because the Reflect is down now. Yeah, we do. So we get another 24% because the Reflect goes down, so I know I'm going to drop to an Ice Punch this turn regardless. So we get a little bit off on him, and I'm thinking now, at this point, holy crap. This is a +3 defense, +3 attack Registeel. It's probably going to be heavily specially defensive. How the hell do I beat this thing? What do I do. I say plus 3, it's times 3. I think it's actually plus 4, isn't it? But I don't know. Anyway, I'm like, how the hell do I break this thing? I have a couple of good counters-ish, but not great counters. So I decided to go into Cryogonal because I want to get rid of his leftovers. I don't want him having any passive recovery because that's going to be a huge problem. If I've got to wear this thing down with a few mons, I need to get rid of his leftovers. So we get rid of his leftovers, and that's it. He now cannot get any recovery. This thing is just sitting there getting worn down. We go into Checkmate Ben. We get an Intimidate off, but he's clear body, so that doesn't matter, which is why I didn't go to this thing immediately. But here, really crucially, this is a roll with his Iron Head. He sent me his exact set. I'm pretty sure that I have a chance of living an Iron Head, which is why I went into Checkmate Ben. Of living 2 Iron... What? Yeah, of living 2 Iron Heads. I think I actually have a chance of doing. I definitely live 1. And this is where I was discussing not having a Super Fang. Had I had Super Fang at this point, I probably win this battle. Almost definitely win this battle, in fact, because Isaac comes back in on the Lantern and the Marsh Stomp and just beats them 1v1, and also the Drifblim. And Mariabella puts in work if I have Super Fang, because Super Fang puts him in range of a Heat Wave from Mariabella. So unfortunately, I don't have the Super Fang. Of course, I have Low Kick and Earthquake, so the best thing I can do is fire off a Low Kick. He goes for the Iron Head, and through the Babiri Berry, it actually kills. So it's not living 2, it's living 1. It actually kills, and I asked him for his sets, and that is, I believe, a 35% chance to kill. In his video, I think he said it was an 80% chance, but that was the way I worded my message to him. I didn't explain it properly. It was a 35% chance to kill or something. I think I had like a 75% chance to live. Maybe even less. It might have been a 25% chance to kill. Either way, basically, like, it was a roll that was quite heavily in my favour for me to live there. Well over 50%, around 30% or less for it to kill. So I had a good chance of living that. So I do feel like I take great pride in not being salty, and I wasn't really salty at the end of this because I don't think that I played that well. If I brought Super Fang, I still could have won here. Spoilers, we do go on to lose this battle if you hadn't guessed. So it is my mistakes in prep that cost me as well. But I do feel a little bit aggrieved, and I do think it's worth mentioning that the 10% Spadef drop forced the Licky Licky out, and then the 30% kill chance on the Iron Head on the ground will stop me from being able to kill this Registeel. So it's gutting because it's like I could definitely have gone on to do better, maybe even won. Because as I say, Mariabella comes in here, clicks Heat Wave, it kills this thing. He then goes into Marsh Tomp to eat up my Specs Heat Wave. As you see, he was left with 11% and our Low Kick did 17%, so he definitely would have killed with that Heat Wave. He would have then gone into the Marsh Tomp. I could have gone hard into Licky Licky, potentially, if I'd wanted to, or I could have just stayed it in, fired off a Heat Wave and let Mariabella go down. Then I could have gone into Licky Licky, fired up a Wish, and just started swords dancing on this thing. Lantern was never going to break me, and Drifblim were never going to break me. As we already saw, Marsh Tomp couldn't break me. Lantern and Drifblim get no form of recovery, so maybe Drifblim might get Pain Split, but it would have meant even if they toxic'd me, I could have just SD'd up on them and then knock off and facaded them respectively to claim the win. So it wasn't definite, but I felt I would have had a good chance. Isaac comes in. The best thing I can do is try and chip him down a little bit. Facade's not doing a lot. I wish just in case somehow I can live 1 or 2. I can't. Ironhead does a chunk, so there was no way I was winning from this point anyway. Knockoff is 3%. It's pathetic. So that's how it goes. We do drop, and we lose 4-0, and 4-0 is quite a heavy loss and quite heavy differential. But I don't feel like I played badly, and I don't feel... some people were saying me sacking camera up. Check my bed after, was like, why did you sack camera up to the chat op? Because I didn't have a chat op switching. Everything else died to it. So I don't regret that play, honestly. I was caught out by a curse ice punching Registeel. I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't expect set up Registeel. It was a good bring. It was a great bring. He had excellent prep and he managed the game superbly well. And he played to his win conditions going for the Bug Buzz with his Ribombi. Don't get me wrong. I'm not just salty being like, oh, I lost to a 10% drop. That was his win condition. He clicked it and he got it, and that's fair. That's Pokemon. That's RNG. I just feel like from my perspective, could I have done a lot better in this game? I could have brought Super Fang. Other than that, No, I honestly don't feel I could have done a lot better. I think I played well. Maybe you guys disagree, and if you do disagree, and if you have things that you feel I could have done better, please, please, please do let me know down in the comment section, because I always want to learn. Even when I think I've done the right thing, I always want to learn what I could have done better in the future. So all that being said, guys, this was a great battle. GG to my man Qwilfish. He brought a great team, brought a great Registeel set, and managed the battle superbly well, as I said before. We will be back next week when we go up against my man, the one guy, Elliot, who we've faced on the channel several times. I've already done that battle. I've already recorded the commentary for that battle. I did it before this one, bizarrely. But that is an excellent battle. You guys should definitely enjoy that one. Really, really exciting game. So, all that being said, thank you so much for loafing around with me, guys, and I'll catch you again next time.